Hello and welcome to A Quantum Leap in Cruising. I'm Cheryl Baker, and in this programme we're exploring some of the most technically advanced cruise ships on the ocean today. Adam Coulter from Cruise Critic has sampled Royal Caribbean's Quantum class cruise ships and joins me now to share his experiences. Hey Adam, how are
Cheryl.
you?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, good to see you too.
This is a huge class of ship, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, size-wise, they're enormous. I mean, they're not the biggest in the world, but they are some of the biggest in the world. Got almost 5,000 passengers. You know, I think it's 4,400, something like that.
Wow,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's compare them then. Let's go through them. The things that they've got. North Star.
So North Star, these are all the headline-grabbing stuff. So North Star is this. If you know the London Eye, right? So it's a capsule really on the end of a sort of retractable mechanism that goes up. I did this when I was on Ovation of the Seas. It goes right up above the ship, so you don't do this if you've got a head for, haven't got a head for height.
Okay.
It's about 100 foot up, something like that, and you look down onto the ship, and then all around you. It's amazing in terms of the view, because you never really get to see the whole of the ship like that below you.
And that's on which ship?
So these are on all three. So all the Quantum class ships are the same. So whenever a cruise line launches a new ship, usually that's also the class of the ship. So the first one was Quantum of the Seas in November 14, and then you had Anthem and then Ovation. Right. So they all have this thing called the North Star. So as I say, basically it's like a capsule that allows you to look out. And we did it in dock in Southampton. I think it's quite a nice sunny day actually, so it wasn't too bad, the views. I'm not sure. I know that on Sundays they don't raise the thing because of bad weather. Right. And I think that if you're far out at sea and it's a little bit rough, they're not going to do it either. But it's well worth doing. And
the Bionic Bar.
Bionic Bar. Well, that is it's a little bit gimmicky, shall we say, but it is fun. So you can basically you order your drinks via an iPad or something similar, and then you get served by these robotic arms. So they'll mix your drink, they'll put the ice in, they'll shake it, and then they'll deliver it to you. So, and you sit around the bar and they deliver it to you. They don't. So if you think of, when I say robotic arm, you think of, in like a car manufacturing plant. It's that type of thing. Oh yeah. It's not an actual robot. So the arm is fixed, and then it delivers your drink in front of you like that. So.
It does sound fun, but it would be lovely if it was a proper, R2-D2 or something.
Well, I think that would be brilliant. You imagine the thing would come out and then it would open its top and your drink would be there, You pat it on the head and off it goes. But it's fun. People enjoy it. There's always good music. There's a lot of music and always activity playing around. It's not an actual bar. It's more of it's an area. It's a little space on one of the upper decks above one of the promenades. Okay. But anyway, that's just a technical thing. But there's always a lot of people around it, milling around, just because of the sheer novelty of it.
Doing selfies.
Doing selfies in front of the robotic arms,
What about Ripcord by iFly?
Simulated skydiving. So
Simulated? So you're not actually...
No.
Well, you can't. Of course you can't. What am I saying?
No. Hey, you can do almost anything on a cruise ship. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. That was the next thing they did, on a shore excursion. Go up in an aeroplane and drop out, do actual skydiving. But no, this is simulated. So again, I think it's below the capsule, below the North Star. You're horizontal. You have to put your arms and your legs out, and
you tried it.
Not on the ship, but I've done it in Florida before. It's always very popular. No, I would do it. I'm not scared of that one, honestly.
You're scared of most of them. No. Let's be honest.
But it's a popular one. So it's a big, all these things. They're big queues to get into them. So. How
about Seaplex?
So Seaplex is this wonderful thing where you've got Dodgem cars on board. I think we've spoken about this before, and who'd have thought? You've got these bumper cars, and you can go in. And it's actually a decent size, and you get in your car and you just go round and, you feel like you're a kid again. It's fantastic.
But there's other things as well as the bumper cars in Seaplex, isn't there?
Yeah, well, there's trapeze as well, so you can do that. And then the evening it turns into a roller disco. So you've got this gantries above the area where you're skating with a DJ booth, and you can skate around there as he looks down and plays the tunes.
Is it mainly the younger people that do that?
No, everybody does it.
Oh, brilliant.
I mean, that's the great thing about these ships. They're completely inclusive. So any age does it. I mean, it's not exclusive just to the kids. Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's times of day, for example, the kids club on board might book out the basketball court for some football from some five-a-side with the kids for an hour in the afternoon, and then you wouldn't have that. So that would just be for the kids and maybe the adults to watch. But the rest of the time, no, I mean, anybody can come along, you know. So,
what's 270?
270 for me is probably the standout on the ship.
Oh, right.
I think that one of the most amazing pieces of technology I've ever seen, and I will go on about it. So feel free to interject at any point. But when I first saw it on Quantum of the Seas, I couldn't get over how amazing it is. What it is it's the back of the ship, and it's 3 stories high. Just so I can paint a picture here. The reason it's called 270 is it's 270 degrees round is how big the screen is.
Oh.
And it's 100 foot high. And it's got some of the highest definition TV that you'll ever see in your life. Currently, it's the highest HD TV in the world. And these screens can either be individual or they're one. And they put on the backdrop or whatever it might be, you know, big curtains opening or different scenes from different movies or whatever it might be, to go with the actual performance that's taking place on the ship. Other aspect is you've got a stage which is sort of semi in the round, which is not a fixed stage. You've got people coming up and down and moving around and doing different things, including more robots. So these aren't actual robots, but they are screens called robo screens, which are fixed points, but they mimic the dancers that are performing on stage
But are your eyes drawn to the screen more than they are to the actual performers?
Well, the performers are amazing, and they I don't know how you'd work with a robot, but they do it very well. They do it in sync. But these screens, they show also stuff on you know, that's going on either on the stage or they do it together, different scenes from the performance. So they'll do it individually, or there's 4 screens and they'll suddenly sort of show an entire section all together, and then they mix and they mold into each other. Honestly, it's amazing. They've got Spectra's Cabaret on one, and Night Water, I think, is on the other, and they're both beautiful, incredible performances. You
don't have to pay for any of this,
no,
do you?
the entertainment is completely free on board.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
How about the virtual balconies?
I always like virtual balconies. They're a great invention that was launched on Quantum of the Seas, and they are, as the name suggests, they're basically, again, they're HD screen TVs. They are floor to ceiling, and they're in the inside cabins, which is a lovely idea because sometimes you can feel a bit claustrophobic in those. But what they are is one whole wall is dedicated to a scene of the ship, basically where you're sailing, and it's you know, shown directly into your cabin, and it shows the route you're going. So it's not sort of a made up. It's not showing a movie or anything. Although
so you feel like you're looking out.
You feel like you're looking out, yeah, and it's clear. It's sharp. It's not sort of fuzzy, and you can look out and think, and you know, for a moment you can imagine maybe it's a real balcony.
They have sound as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do. So you can turn it up or down, depending if you want the ocean waves being piped in or not. And I've always thought they've got some cabins on board, which family cabins, which have an inside virtual balcony cabin. And I always think that would be fun for the kids, you know, because they obviously they'd want to get out, but you'd feel a lot safer, wouldn't you, as well? Yeah. And they think that they've got this cabin, and I think it would be a lot of fun, actually. Mm.
Let's talk about each individual ship. There are 3 in the Quantum class, aren't there? So there's Quantum of the Seas.
Yes.
Anthem and Ovation.
Yes.
And where are they on the world map?
Well, Quantum is based in Shanghai right now. Anthem is based in Bayonne, New Jersey. And Ovation is based in Shanghai. And in case you're wondering, in case viewers are interested, the reason why both ships are there is because the Chinese cruise market is booming. Mm. So these are some of the biggest ships in the world. You know, obviously China's the most populous country in the world. The Chinese have suddenly discovered cruising, so they need to keep sending really big ships out there. Obviously the downside is that we get a brief taste of these ships, like with Anthem, it was based in Southampton, and it was a really popular ship. And we don't have it anymore. We're going to a break now, so please don't go anywhere, because we'll be continuing a quantum leap in cruising after this quick break. Do stay with us. Hello,
Hello and welcome back to A Quantum Leap in Cruising, where we're exploring some of the most technically advanced cruise ships on the ocean today. Adam Coulter from Cruise Critic is still with me, sharing his thoughts on Royal Caribbean's Quantum class ships. The technology on these ships is superb, isn't it?
It's amazing, yeah. It's incredible.
So talk me through what you've got. iPad.
So you've got iPads everywhere, really.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, but that's the thing. Basically, iPad from check-in. So the check-in is all done on iPad. So you know how you get in these trendy hotels, they don't bother with reception anymore. So basically, they just have people, good-looking people standing around with iPads, and you check in that way. So there's no paper. There's no paper involved anymore.
Not even a newspaper.
Well, you are.
I love that when they put the paper.
No, they've still got that.
Oh,
they've still got that, Cheryl. Don't worry. They do have that. What's it called? I can't remember. Cruise Daily, Cruise Planner, something like that. But they still do that, which I think is a really nice touch, and people love that. Handed out usually on turn down, and you can pick it up and see. Oh, what shall I do the next day? And one of the weirdest things is, and I'm not sure if they're still doing this. The weirdest, if you've cruised before, is that you're not given your cabin key when you arrive. Your card. It's waiting for you in your door.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So you pick that out. But then also, it's almost redundant now because you get what's called an RFID, don't ask me what that stands for, RFID wristband that doubles up as your payment mechanism and your door opening thing, and you just put that on, and that acts as your, you just wear that. And the great thing about that is, one of the things that always people used to go on about, certainly on our message boards, was that, where do I put my key card when I'm swimming? And now you don't have to, you just wear a plastic wristband. So that's another way around. That's another piece of technology that they're doing. One
thing that really bothers me on board ship is either no internet or expensive internet or slow internet.
Yeah.
What is it like on Quantum?
Quantum is, again, it's pushed out all the limits on the internet, and they've got now super high speed broadband at a reasonable price. Oh. So for people who've cruised before that have to buy these awful packages on X number of minutes at an inflated price for really slow internet, those days are gone. What you do is you can buy it for 2 or 3 devices on a daily basis, so no logging in or logging out, or daily or weekly basis at a flat fee, and it's super high speed. And I mean, more power to them. It's a brilliant way of doing it, keeps the passengers happy, but at the same time, it's all about social media. So what do you want to do when you go anywhere nowadays? You want to post a picture of yourself. I am here having a great time. Yeah. But that is basically free publicity and free marketing for the cruise lines.
Of course it is. It's good for them.
It's fantastic. Yeah. And also, as younger passengers, we're not even confined to younger ones, because I'm sure, grandparents probably like posting selfies.
You were going to say even you, Cheryl.
No, I wasn't going to say that at all, Cheryl. That's unfair. I would never say that. What I'm saying is that, if you're sort of reluctantly dragging along your teenager, say for example, and say, well, I don't want to go on a cruise, you say, well, you can post selfies of yourself all over the place, and you have the ability to do that on board now, whereas before it was like dial-up back in the day.
I know, it was awful. Yeah.
So that, well done to them, and they've rolled that out on a number of their other ships, and it's going across the whole fleet. Well,
hopefully it will go on other fleets as well. I mean, they should all do it.
They should all do it, and to be fair, they are gradually doing it. But I'll tell you something funny, which I learnt on board. The reason why the internet is so powerful, it's called VOOM, V-O-O-M, is apparently there's a satellite that tracks the ships individually as they go around the world. So they've got their own personal satellite beaming down ultra high speed internet. That's what I heard on board.
Well, then it must be true.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Yeah.
They've done something different with the dining, haven't they? On the Quantum, they haven't got the main dining room, is that right?
Well, what they've done a very interesting thing. Now, I won't go into too many details because it's a bit boring and involved, but they did try out something called dynamic dining, where they sliced up the main dining room into 3 or 4, 4 it was actually on the Quantum ships, into different themes, which, in principle sounds lovely. They had a formal one, they had one called American Icon, which was classic American dishes. They had an Asian-themed one. And what you're meant to do is move from dining room to dining room and have different experiences. Now, the problem with that was you'd be mixed up. You wouldn't have necessarily the same dining companions. A lot of people like that. You wouldn't have your same waiter. A lot of people like that. And there weren't fixed dining times, so it bothered a lot of people. So they scrapped all that. But what remains are the 4 themed dining rooms. Oh. They didn't change that. So you can still, you've moved away from one big traditional main dining room to 4 smaller main dining rooms. which I think is quite a nice touch.
I think it's lovely.
Yeah.
That's a very nice idea. Yeah. And you've got the specialities like Jamie's Italian.
Yes, yeah. Wonderland.
Yeah. And Michael's Genuine Pub.
Well, it's a pub. I can't really say much more.
Is it a genuine pub?
It's a genuine pub on board. But just go back briefly to Wonderland because it's a lot of fun. It's basically this kind of molecular gastronomy, Heston Blumenthal type cooking, lots of dry ice, and it's more of the waiters are dressed as characters out of Alice in Wonderland.
That would be wonderful.
One lovely touch. I don't know if I'm allowed to give this away, I suppose, but I will anyway. But you've got these. They're menus, right? But when you get them, they're blank, and you think, what's this all about? And it just takes you back to being a kid because they've got invisible ink on them. So you have to do something to... And the menu actually comes alive in front of your eyes. I mean, it starts at that point, lovely. And it's not just quirky and gimmicky. I really like the food. It's not just that fancy, silly food. It's really nice. But also there's really unexpected stuff. One particular dish I ought to mention is it looks like a mound of dirt, basically, that they've dug up. And I can't remember exactly what the food substance is, but it's very tasty. But you have to, your brain's thinking, I'm about to eat a mouthful of dirt, and in fact it's a very tasty dish, which I can't remember, but it is really, it's worth going there. It's fun.
Do they have formal nights? Is it casual? Is it?
Well, the Royal Caribbean has largely done away with sort of super formal nights, you know, but there will be an elegant night. I think they call it elegant.
Oh, okay. I like the sound of that.
Elegant's a nice name, which means you don't necessarily have to dress up in your black tie or your long flowing gown. But one of the 4 restaurants on board, the main dining rooms, is called The Grand, and in The Grand every night is formal night.
Ah, okay. So you can posh up if you want to.
You can posh up if you want to. Yeah, I mean, you know, that goes back to the theme we keep talking about: is you can have whatever cruise you want to have on board, you know. But if you want to dress up every night, then The Grand is the place to do that.
Now, we talked about the 270, which blows your mind. But what about the music hall?
So the music hall is a double height area, which is basically has the live bands in, and you also have the occasional comedy and things like that. But it's fun because on the top, the top part is a bar, and you've got a sort of a balcony that goes right round, goes round 3 sides, and you look down on the performance, or you get involved and go down, you know, on the ground floor, and then you're right there and amongst, and then it turns into a disco at night. And we've seen lots of good bands on there, and also that's also where the karaoke is as well,
which you love.
we've already discussed that, but I have done karaoke there, and it's fun because you've got everybody watching, if you like that sort of thing. So. How
about the Royal Theatre?
Royal Theatre is again, it's a stunning, you know, vast theatre. This is the thing always blows my mind. You go on these ships and these theatres hold 1,000, 1,200 people. They're as big or bigger than a West End or a Broadway one. So
what kind of shows would we find in the Royal Theatre then?
Well, the great thing is with Royal Caribbean ships is that they always do, and they always have done, these real high-end West End quality Broadway performances. So, for example, you've got Mamma Mia and you've got We Will Rock You, and the cast members there are drawn from the original performances on Broadway or the West End. So the quality and the calibre is as good as you'd see on land.
What about the length, though? Because normally the shows on the ships are about 45 minutes, and Mamma Mia and We Will Rock You, of course, are twice that long.
They're quite long. They're probably not as long as they are in the West End. They'll be a bit shorter than that. But you would be looking about an hour and 20 minutes or so. So you have to factor that in. I mean, that's not ages, but as you quite rightly say, that's longer than perhaps what, you know, your traditional 45 to 50 minutes performance.
Yeah. Because you usually go from one end of the ship, see the show, to the other end of the ship, see the comedian, that kind of thing.
Yeah, to the dining room or wherever it might be.
Or go to the karaoke bar.
Yes.
Yeah. What about if you want some downtime? You want to sip a cocktail, you want to read a book? Is there anywhere? Because these ships are something seems to be going on everywhere, doesn't there?
There is. I mean, it's sometimes difficult to find your quiet place, and I would recommend always, you know, if the weather's decent, you go up to the top deck sun deck areas. It's always quiet up there. You can get away from the splash pools and and the noisy main pools where often there's music being piped. There'll always be different bars and restaurants which are quieter. You want to get out of the Royal Esplanade because that's the main area where all the action's going on. You want to go to some of the quieter spots on board. You know, find a bar or restaurant that's a little bit away from all the craziness, and make that your place. You know, and keep going back there. That's what I'd recommend. And
as on most of the ships, or possibly all of the ships, there's a spa, gym,
yeah, there
classes.
is. We haven't even discussed that. They always have these incredible, huge spas and gyms, and you know, they're fully fitted with all the latest cardiovascular equipment and spinning and TRX and whatever that means. But I know all of that stuff is on board. I'm not a frequent gym goer, but they've also got the spas are beautiful, really lovely. You know, they've got tons of treatment rooms. They've got sort of couples treatment rooms, and they always have, which is my favourite, these thermal suites. So you're going to have, you know, you'll have a sauna, you'll have a steam room. Often different types of steam rooms, aromatherapy type room, and usually a big, huge type of jacuzzi thermal pool type thing. They all have those. You usually have to pay a daily fee to get into them unless you have a spa treatment. So bear that in mind. And it's sometimes worth buying, if you're on for a week, buying a week's package, and you get a reduced rate for that. But
do you also have like a private pool and everything?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
well, those are also, there's Serenity sort of areas which are adults only, so that's a separate thing. But in the spa, you've got these lovely thermal suites, I think they call them.
All right, the last question, if I can put you on the spot, your favourite aspect of the Quantum class ships?
It's 270 every time. Yeah, just blows me away.
All right, Adam, thank you so much. Always interesting.
Thank you, Cheryl.
And thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon here on TV Cruise Channel. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.